Imagine possessing the exact blueprint to the future of human connection, a multi-billion-dollar architecture of the human mind. Now imagine watching a quiet, socially awkward teenager steal that blueprint right out of your hands, build a global empire upon it, and completely erase your name from the history books. How does a betrayal of that magnitude twist the human psyche? Does it break you? Or does it forge an obsession so dark and powerful that you rewrite the rules of money itself just to get your revenge? Welcome to the psychological anatomy of the Winklevoss Twins. Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss were not underdogs. They were the absolute winners of the genetic and economic lottery. Born in 1981, they were raised in the extreme wealth of Greenwich, Connecticut. Their father was a Wharton professor and a brilliant financial mind. From a young age, the twins were engineered for absolute dominance. By 13, they were teaching themselves HTML and building businesses. By the time they entered Harvard University in the year 2000, they were physical titans. Standing at 6'5", they were Olympic-level rowers, the undisputed stars of a team notoriously nicknamed the God Squad. They had intellect, they had unlimited resources, and they had physical perfection. But in the ruthless, invisible world of code, physical strength means absolutely nothing. In late 2002, the twins recognized a massive psychological void in the internet. People wanted to connect, but they wanted exclusivity. They designed a concept called Harvard Connection, a closed, elite social network. It was a brilliant, inevitable idea. But there was one fatal flaw in their armor. They were economics majors. They didn't know how to write the complex back-end code required to bring this digital beast to life. They needed a mercenary. They needed a programmer. Enter a 19-year-old Harvard sophomore named Mark Zuckerberg. He was a quiet, unassuming computer prodigy who had recently caused a campus scandal with a crude rating site called FaceMash. In October 2003, the towering twins sat down with Mark in the Harvard dining hall. They slid their blueprints across the table. They explained the vision, the exclusivity, the exact mechanics of the network. Mark sat quietly. He listened. He nodded. He agreed to build it. They thought they had found their employee. They didn't realize they had just handed the keys to the kingdom to an absolute apex predator. For months, Mark maintained the illusion of compliance. He answered their emails with vague updates. He told them he was coding, but in the dark silence of his dorm room, he was building his own empire, using the exact psychological framework they had handed him. On February 4th, 2004, the Facebook.com launched to the Harvard campus. The Winklevoss twins didn't get an email from Mark. They found out by reading the campus newspaper. The psychological blow was catastrophic. It wasn't just a stolen idea. It was the absolute humiliation of being outsmarted by a ghost. The twins went to the Harvard president, demanding justice. They were ignored. In the real world, the strongest survive, but in the digital age, the most ruthless inherit the earth. Left with no other options, the twins weaponized their family's wealth and launched a massive 4-year legal bloodbath against Zuckerberg. As they sat in sterile deposition rooms, they had to watch their stolen idea spread like a virus across the globe, eventually capturing billions of human minds. In 2008, the war of attrition ended. Facebook settled. They gave the twins $20 million in cash and $45 million in private company stock. To the average person, $65 million is a monumental victory. But to the Winklevoss twins, it was a humiliating defeat. They had accepted a fraction of the empire they believed they conceived. And the psychological torture was only just beginning. When they tried to pivot and become venture capitalists in Silicon Valley, the doors were slammed in their faces. No startup wanted their money. Why? Because taking money from the Winklevoss twins meant you would immediately become an enemy of Mark Zuckerberg. And nobody crossed Mark Zuckerberg. They were incredibly rich, but they were absolute ghosts in the tech world, exiled from the very future they helped create. By the summer of 2012, the exiled titans went to Ibiza. They were looking for an escape, drowning their professional defeat in loud music and isolation. But the universe has a strange way of offering resurrection. On a dark beach, a stranger named David Azar approached them. He didn't pitch a company. He whispered a concept that, at the time, belonged only to the dark web, hackers, and criminals. He told them about a decentralized, untraceable digital currency. He told them about Bitcoin. To the rest of the world, Bitcoin was a joke. But the twins, with their deep understanding of economics, saw something entirely different. They saw a weapon, a financial system that Mark Zuckerberg didn't control, a system that Silicon Valley couldn't lock them out of. Driven by the absolute need to conquer a new frontier, they made a decision that the financial world called sheer madness. When Bitcoin was hovering around $100, they took $11 million of their settlement money and bought it. They didn't just invest. They bought 1% of the entire global supply of Bitcoin. It was the ultimate, calculated revenge. They couldn't build the platform that connected human profiles, so they decided to own the platform that would connect human wealth. And their terrifying gamble paid off. When Bitcoin violently surged to $20,000 in 2017, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss became the first confirmed Bitcoin billionaires in the world. They built Gemini, a massive crypto exchange, cementing their names in the foundation of the new digital economy. Today, their net worth hovers around $10 billion. They resurrected their legacy from the ashes of the greatest intellectual theft in modern history. But here is the lingering, dark psychological question. Mark Zuckerberg's net worth is roughly $220 billion. He controls the flow of information for half the planet. No matter how many billions the twins accumulate, no matter how much digital gold they hoard, they will forever be the men who stood in the dining hall and gave away the world. Can an obsession born of revenge ever truly be satisfied? Or is the ghost of what you could have been the heaviest burden the human mind can carry? Let me know what you think in the shadows of the comments below. If someone stole your billion-dollar destiny, would you be able to survive the madness? Until next time, trust no one.